Guys, I don't know what to do. Black Ops 6 is dying a horrible, slow, painful death, and I don't have the emotional maturity nor the cognitive ability to talk about it without hyperbole, conspiracy, and vitriol. So here I go on a long 40-minute rant about why Black Ops 6 is the worst COD ever. Okay, no, I don't have the energy for that, so instead let's talk about Black Ops 6 and how I think a simple update could bring it back to where we want it. I don't think Black Ops 6 is such a terrible game that needs a massive overhaul of any kind or some massive rework patch or anything like that. I also am not going to go browse Twitter and Reddit for everybody else's opinions so that I can share opinions you might already have or have seen. I'm going to just talk about what would bring Black Ops 6 into being an exciting game again for me personally. I'd love to hear your opinions in the comment section below, but on my channel, we get to hear my opinion first. It's sort of the, the right-of-way for annoying Caucasian people that rant about Call of Duty into Elgato Wave 3 microphones. We need a shift when it comes to how Call of Duty advertises and promotes its seasons, in order to regain the hype that we have sort of lost over the last few months with Black Ops 6. We need a front-loaded Season 2 without any of the in-season advertising on the roadmap. A thing that really deteriorates our hype for the game is getting a roadmap and then seeing the words in-season all over it to see that, yeah, some of this we get at launch, other stuff is through events, and other stuff is in-season, and I don't like it. I don't think any of us do. So we need a front-loaded, heavy Season 2 that doesn't have a roadmap covered in in-season or in-game event, just a bunch of stuff that launches on a particular date with playlists to enjoy all of it at the same time. And even though Black Ops 6 I don't think is short on content, I think a heavy front-loaded chunk of content to start us off for Season 2 would be the best option. And I'm talking 4 maps and 4 guns. 2 guns you get from specific challenges, and other 2 you get from the battle pass like normal. And I want this season to be completely throwback themed for Black Ops 1. A World at War season, a Black Ops 3 season, hell, even a Black Ops 4 season could be interesting. I'm not gonna say that Black Ops 1 is the best, but I didn't want to sweat over making this video. I just wanted to go with okay, what's my favorite Black Ops title with a bunch of content we have not seen remade in a very long time. So 4 maps that don't play like any of the other maps currently in Black Ops 6. I'm talking some of Black Ops 1's larger maps. And I'm going to say a couple controversial takes here. I'm going to say Hanoi, Cracked, Villa, and Havana. All of these being put into one chunky DLC playlist, kind of like the old days where you bought a DLC for $15, you got 4 maps in a playlist. I think would be fantastic. We haven't seen these maps in a while. I'd also accept Grid or Array or Radiation. I think Radiation would be even better, but I'm just gonna pick those 4 maps because they're unique. They would all play pretty differently from each other, and that'd be a playlist of maps that people would want to play in for quite a while. When it comes to guns, I think they should also be themed around Black Ops 1, and I'm gonna say the M14, the MPL, the G11, and the M60. Then, Sticks and Stones should be added with a crossbow and ballistic knife. You might think, well, that's a lot of weapons, but I don't think so. Ballistic knife and a crossbow should have been in the game at launch because it's a fucking Black Ops game. And us having a playlist with 4 throwback maps, a bunch of new, but of course, old weapons from Black Ops 1, and then Sticks and Stones with the crossbow and ballistic knife being added would be really cool. Also, it'd be cool if the way that you unlock the crossbow and ballistic knife is by playing Sticks and Stones and earning a certain amount of XP or headshots or whatever in those modes in order to get them. That'd be a really fun event to unlock the crossbow and ballistic knife. Other than that, the Demolition game mode needs to come back. And then the Battle Pass skins I want to be themed around Black Ops 1 as well. Skins based off of the Black Ops 1 campaign and multiplayer factions would be really great to see. And that'd be a Battle Pass I'd be very eager to earn stuff in. I know it's not the stuff that sells the most, but they need to balance out the amount of crazy, colorful, cartoonish skins and actual stuff that feels like it belongs in Call of Duty. They're not going to remove the other skins, so I just think we should get a balanced amount, so a whole season full of Black Ops 1 sort of retro nostalgia would be really cool. Same goes for bundles. I think the bundles should come with weapon variants that look like the guns from Black Ops 1, so we could get a weapon variant that looks like the MP5K from Black Ops 1. I mean, I would buy a bundle with an OP40 milsim operator with an XM4 that looks like the M16 from Black Ops 1. Again, just bundles and battle pass stuff that's themed around Black Ops 1 and making the game feel a little bit more mature and sort of balance out the amount of goofy to more serious skins. Then, as a massive rework idea for this season, I think they should bring back COD points in the Black Ops 1 sense. They could have a different name for the currency because I know now COD points mean something else. But an in-game store with like face paints and weapon camos and blueprints and stuff, like retro blueprints and stuff that I'm talking about, in a store where you get a secondary in-game currency just by playing would be really cool, and then bring back wager matches. It's like, hey, do you want a variant of the AK-74 that looks like the AK-47 from Black Ops 1, or do you want a variant of, let's say they add the M14, right? They add a variant of the M14 that looks like the M1 carbine from World at War. They did this with the Prestige rewards, and I think it'd be really cool to have an in-game store where we can earn currency by playing the game and by doing wager matches. And then we can go in and buy, like, yeah, face paints for our operators, or certain weapon skins, or tracer packs, or whatever. And I think that'd be really cool to see. You might think that's the dumbest idea and they're never going to do that, but it's a pretty simple idea. They'll probably have to tweak the amount of currency you get per match or whatever as time goes on, but I think it'd be a really great way to incentivize people to keep playing. And it'd be a really cool way to implement things like reticle changes and camos that maybe are from previous COD games. Again, just sort of basing my idea off of how they already have the Prestige system set up as sort of an homage to previous Black Ops titles, so I don't think I'm jumping the shark too much here. Then we need some meaningful gameplay change to make the entire game more interesting outside of just, let's say, these wager matches I'm describing, or micro DLC or battle pass content, or just a chunk of new maps. We need something that's going to outlast the season, and I think a meaningful change to score streaks is the best option. We need to get modern COD players out of the idea that easier to earn streaks are going to cause them to die a lot and have a bad time, and give them the mentality of, if they're easier to earn, I can earn more of them and I can have more fun. We need to destigmatize streaks. I know Treyarch is probably going to be the last developer to do this because Treyarch seemingly hates streaks, but currently in Black Ops 6, without a combination of field upgrades and the correct set of perks, the strategist specialty bonus, and using the UAV counter UAV trick, it is difficult to earn a lot of streaks very easily. And yeah, maybe it shouldn't be too easy, but it also shouldn't be convoluted and messy. Lowering the point values for all of the streaks so that it doesn't take me forever to get them would be really great, or just buffing the streaks so that when I do get them, they do a lot of damage, or increase the score I get from them to make them stack. Something. A meaningful change to streaks is a meaningful change to every match you play. And it's mind-boggling that I've talked about this before for previous COD games, and people will be like, well, I don't want UAV spam, for instance. It's like, okay, they can put a cooldown on UAVs by having it be like, okay, you only have 2 in the air at a time on your team. If there's more than 2, then the airspace is full, you can't call it in yet. Or make the UAVs easier to shoot down, or you could change the point values of all the lethal streaks and still keep the UAV and CUAV a bit higher, and also you can run Ghost or a launcher to counter them. I don't understand the problem. There is a serious issue with Call of Duty having the matchmaking system it does that does affect how the quality of your matches go, and the inability to get simple streaks like a napalm strike or a mortar strike or whatever, and then certain streaks like the strategic bomber just being fundamentally useless and only good for getting maybe 1 or 2 kills, despite it costing 1300 score, and again requiring you to cheese things with field upgrades, tactical equipment, the exact correct set of perks. A strong streak system that sort of stacks and loops makes every life feel like an opportunity, and makes every death feel a little bit actually worse in a good way. If the streaks take too long to get, then it's too tedious to really want to go for them, and it's a whole thing, it's your whole match just to get a chopper gunner. And you have to play very conservatively, so it's not that fun. But when streaks are a little bit more affordable and they stack into each other, it means that each life has this perfect balance of mattering more, and you have to stay alive and play well, but not so much that you're changing up your entire playstyle to sort of, camp a corner or hide in a room or something. So making the score streaks more affordable is going to make people more involved in the game and go through the motions a bit less. I think what makes Call of Duty boring is doing just a ton of camo grinding, where your deaths don't really matter and you're just trying to make a little bit of progress each life. It's not the engaging factor that Call of Duty usually had back in the day, and what grabbed people about COD back in the day was that feeling of every life you have this opportunity to dominate the game, and that's a feeling you really just don't want to waste. So I think on top of a giant front-loaded season with, yes, a lot of nostalgia, but mostly just to make it feel more like Call of Duty, bringing back a COD point equivalent with wager matches, and then a meaningful change to score streaks, I think would make Black Ops 6 an incredibly fun game. And none of this is that hard to really implement. Putting a bunch of cosmetics behind a secondary currency you just earn every match, and then adding wager matches is not a big deal. Having a bunch of bundles and battle pass items that are themed around previous COD games, having 4 remastered maps at the launch of Season 2, I don't feel like I'm asking for the moon here. Modern Warfare 3 gave us some massive updates and massive changes and massive seasons, and I'm hoping that we could get the same thing here. If Season 2 comes out and it's like, here's 3 new maps and one of them's a face-off map, and then there's a 4th map in season that's like a remastered map, and here's 2 guns and then a bunch of events that are gonna happen, and a weird game mode that like people are gonna play for a little bit and then drop. Basically, if Season 2 looks like Season 1, with the dropping player numbers, with the dropping interest in the game, I feel like we're gonna have a really bad time with this game going forward, because a lot of people are willing to wait for a Season 2, but less and less people are willing to wait for a Season 3 or a Season 4 going into the summer for the game to be more interesting and worth hopping on. Like, if you're burnt on Black Ops 6 right now, a season that resembles what the last season looked like is not going to make you hop on for any meaningful amount of time. So while I don't think the game needs an entire overhaul, just a buff to streaks and maybe, again, supplementary thing to make the game more exciting to play, and a season that's front-loaded with content instead of drip-fed, I think is, again, they're meaningful changes without being entire overhauls of the game. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. What would make you come back to Black Ops 6 if you've currently dropped it? And if it's about skill-based matchmaking, then I'm sorry, that's just probably not going to happen, but feel free to comment it if you'd like anyway. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you guys. Goodbye.